What's up, everybody?
Welcome to Honest Spirits.
We are back where we try,
Before you buy, hopefully.
Hey, we're pretty stoked. Last week we talked about some barrel blending products and how awesome they are blending. Today we're going to jump into possibly our own little blending. But before we do that, we got a really awesome, it's kind of maybe a little bit more mid-level, maybe higher level allocated bottle.
Yeah.
A
little bit of an older bottle.
Yeah, a little bit of an older bottle. It's the High West Bourye Batch 18 from 2018. You may have seen this if you're a bourbon aficionado, but we decided that it's probably pronounced
Bourye.
but Bourye just sounds better.
Bourye. We got ourselves a Bourye here. Just so you know.
I mean, you're supposed to be drinking it if you're running from the jackalopes
Out there in the old West days.
Yeah. Hey, side note, if you ever see one of these bottles, read the back. There's really
It's pretty funny.
Quite a little funny story that High West leaves you. But this is a blend of straight whiskeys. It says
Bourbons and rye.
Yeah, bourbons and rye. And we did a little bit of research and we found that it's a little bit from Heaven Hill, a little bit from the High West distillery itself, and the majority is from
MGP.
Drum roll, please.
Oh, sorry.
MGP.
I beat the drum roll.
And Jason, what is MGP again?
Midwest Grain Producers out of Indiana.
And where does what grain comes from Indiana made majority? What is the majority grain that comes from Indiana?
The majority of the rye that is used in U.S. rye and bourbon whiskeys comes from MGP in Indiana.
Yes. So that's important because some of the best rye that we've had and recognized kind of around the U.S. is from Indiana. A large portion of this Bourye is from Indiana. Particularly, they are famous for their 95-5 blend, which is 95% rye and 5% malted barley.
Usually very good.
Usually quite stellar.
Yeah.
So without further ado,
I do
not mind, pouring some Bourye.
Yeah, and so in addition to a lot of mid to higher end ryes that are done by MGP, although this actual bottle is from High West out of Utah, by the way, a common one that you'll see that MGP is responsible for, I guess, or that sells their rye to is Bullet. So that's a Bullet rye is one that a lot of people would know, a lot of people drink. It's inexpensive and it's decent.
Yeah.
So, but this. Bourye from 2018. Ooh.
And we got the Week Errands back this week.
The Week Errands!
You know, drink responsibly, folks. It's like that pig from that Geico commercial or whatever.
This has a nice nose, but I get mostly rye on it. Do you?
Yeah, but like it's interesting because a lot of the times when we talk about rye or people think about rye, you get that like peppery or evergreen. It's like a cool mint.
Cool mint. I was just going to say mint. It's a little bit more mint to me.
Yeah, it's a cool mint.
Yep. And it's there with some kind of vanilla toffee.
I get like
sponge sugar. I can't keep going back to that.
I get the vanilla and toffee, but you know what else I get? And I get this a lot from MGP Rye. Is orange peel.
Yep. It's in the background.
Yeah.
And it is not unpleasant, so cheers.
Cheersies. Yep. It's good, but you definitely get a Heaven Hill. Like, Heaven Hill's not dominant, but we say Heaven Hill because you get a little bit richer chocolatey, nutty notes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's definitely some nuttiness going on. It's got some good heat. What's this, 92 proof? What is this?
It's a 90 proof, I believe. 92. 46%.
There's also a really light, perfumey quality on the nose.
I think that's probably where the orange peel is coming in.
Yeah. It's like the citrus and the it kind of wants to have a little bit of that pear and green apple that is prevalent on my favorite ryes. Mm-hmm. Is sort of with the citrus and
if you get pear and green apple on a rye, that's a dang good rye.
Yeah, stellar.
That's a quality rye. Usually a significant age statement on your rye if you get pear and green apple. All right. Complexity. Where you at?
I'm going to go 3.5. It's fairly complex. I mean, they've blended bourbons and ryes together. So, like we said, a lot more rye on the nose, a lot more sort of MGP, and then in the sip, it goes a little bit into that Heaven Hill richness, like with the nuts and the chocolatey notes. But then on the finish, back comes the rye. Yeah, just a tiny whisper of that minty quality.
Yeah.
On the finish.
Yeah,
it's really good.
It's interesting. I have to think about what we did last week in our barrel product and kind of what I gave them. I try to be mindful of that. It's not quite as complex as that.
That's true.
I'm probably at a 3.25.
Yeah, that's probably more accurate.
Yeah.
It's good though.
It's still good.
Solid pour. Drinkability then?
It's probably a
3.75.
3.75. Yeah. 3.5 maybe.
3.5.
But that comes with the lower proof too.
Remarkably good bottle considering that it is 5 years old. Has it been open, do you think, for 5 years?
No.
Okay.
I opened it fresh about 6 months ago.
Okay, good to know. Because we're going to talk about that in some upcoming episodes. We won't get into that now about how long you should keep a bottle around once it's been opened.
Yeah.
All right. And now Grady's going to do something special for you guys. He's dabbled with and he's getting pretty good at. He's going to take two different expressions of Smoke Wagon and he's going to do his own blend right here on the show. So what do we have first?
This is kind of a special bottle to me. I've been keeping this for a special time. And I always say, just like we have said on our podcast before, it's not a special time when you open the special bottle. You don't need a special time to open the special bottle. It's a special time when you open the special bottle.
Yeah.
And why not a better time to open it on the podcast with a great friend of mine?
Yeah.
So
probably the first fresh crack we've done on an Honest Spirits episode.
Yeah, exactly.
I believe.
So fresh crack. I always try and find the peel, do a clean peel. Just
a clean peel. And then he ruined it.
And then he ruined it, folks.
Epic fail. And by the way, minis don't count because we have fresh cracked minis when we've been tasting like vodkas and rums, and minis don't count.
Also, side note, a lot of people are super stickler about the cut, and they take a knife to their cut.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm a little less. I'm just like,
okay.
Let's pop it.
Let's pop it. Oh, nice pop.
That sound is just
magical.
Hey, this is batch 55, bottled on April 9th, 2021. So
and it is Smoke Wagon's unfiltered and uncut.
Yeah, unfiltered and uncut. So
again, Smoke Wagon's out of Las Vegas. I think they have plans at some point in the future to be distilling their own juice, but
I actually think that they are distilling their own juice.
Oh, whisper,
I don't know if this, in fact, man, I have to check with our good friend Aaron Shepnick.
Aaron.
But yeah, I'm going to do a little blending here. Okay, very small amount of the uncut unfiltered. That's probably a quarter of an ounce maybe.
Yeah, you're certainly welcome to pour me more.
Oh, you wouldn't mind, would you?
Not at all.
All right. There you go.
Thank you. Half ounce pour.
Half ounce. All right. I might pour myself just a wee bit more because it's a day.
We Karen.
We Karen. We care. We care about the we Karens,
It's true.
All right, so that is the uncut unfiltered. This, I know we have talked about on our podcast before. This is a Smoke Wagon rye. It is 51% rye, 49% corn, so it is a sweeter rye, a little bit more approachable.
Mm-hmm.
It is bottled in bond, so that means it is 4 years and 100
proof.
Boom. Just hit you with some cold hard facts here.
So we did, first we did the High West Bourye, which High West is out of Utah, if we forgot to mention that, and we told you where that came from. This is Grady's own Bourye.
Yes.
Bourye.
Yeah. Ooh, also distilled in Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, a little homemade Bourye for you. I just discovered this one day. It's just like, hey, I really love uncut unfiltered. I really love this rye.
Yeah.
Well, why not blend them together?
Mm-hmm.
If you know,
you know. So I've when I've been late at night, sometimes had a couple glasses of whiskey and smoking a cigar. I've actually topped off a little bit of bourbon with a little bit of scotch, and we may get into that in the future too, because that was actually can be very good.
All right, cheersies.
This is Grady's blend number
Uno.
Uno. Nice.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is Ripper, man.
That's got a great nose. It's sweet.
It almost has that rye paint thinnery nose, which some people get.
Man, that's way in the background for
Yeah,
me.
it's not bad though.
Not at all.
It's very oddly pleasant.
Yeah.
I know it's hard to recognize that, but oddly pleasant.
Yeah, there's
It's
a
pretty
little
complex,
bit of
man.
that paint thinner. You're right.
It's pretty complex though, man. Like I get that. When I smell it again, mouth open, just like we talked about last week, you get that pear and apple.
Mm-hmm. That is really, really delicious on the palate. So, I'm getting some nuttiness. I'm getting some little bit of brown sugar. You get a little bit of the mintiness from the rye. There's a little bit of the fruit notes, leaning a little bit of pear, which I think you get a lot of green apple and pear off just the rye on its own. So that's kind of interesting. It's even coming through the bourbon, but
Dude,
that's a high corn rye. So this is pretty stellar. Something like you said, he discovered when he was just playing around. I like this a lot.
It just knocks all of the other Bourye that I've had. It knocks out of the park, man. And to be honest with you, it's hard to find an uncut, unfiltered Bourye. I don't think I've ever seen that, honestly. Have you?
No, we haven't yet. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Aaron! Anyways, yeah, that is just stellar. This uncut, unfiltered is 57.76.
Yeah. Wouldn't even know this was a high proof.
Yeah, so it comes out like 115-ish proof.
We're going to talk about complexity and drinkability and value now.
Dude, complexity, I got to put that at like a 4.25, maybe 4.5.
Yeah, I'm going to say 4.3. I'll split the difference with you because it's nice.
It's quite stellar. There's so much there I could talk about it for a long time. Like you said last week, I just want to live in there.
I do want to live in there. That's seriously. Yeah, nice job.
Cheers. Drinkability. You know, you kind of have to take proof into account. I'd say this is probably 2/3 uncut and filtered and 1/3 bottle of Bon Rye. And for the proof, it's a mix of 100 proof and 115 proof, so it's probably around the 110 mark.
Interestingly enough, though, and I don't think enough people talk about this, there's a big difference between a little bit of mouth and tongue burn / numbness and then the burn that goes down your throat that sometimes is kind of unpleasant versus like a warming that goes down. This really has a little bit of that sort of mouth sting, I call it. Not super unpleasant at all.
It's after for me. For me, it's after. It's not right away.
But going down, can't really tell this is high proof.
Right, you really can't.
Like it's got a warming, but it's slow to develop, right?
Yeah, like I feel it now. I feel it now.
Yeah, long after you swallow. That's what she said.
Drinkability, I'm at probably a 4.
Mm-hmm.
It's really drinkable for me.
It is.
It's really drinkable. And you know what, friends? The reason why we're putting this at a 4 and not closer to a 5 is because, honestly, the high proof Buffalo Trace stuff, those are 5s. You just cannot beat those. Their drinkability is absolutely out of this world.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, but for what it is, it's.
I almost put this at a 4.25 for drinkability.
Yeah.
So value, this is going to be a hard one because Grady took 2 different bottles, and what are we looking at average retail for each of these bottles?
$80 for the uncut and filtered, and $70 for the one.
All right, so let's call it a $75 bottle that we just did.
Yeah,
that's actually a pretty good value. This is,
I would agree,
really complex, really drinkable. If you could get this at a bottle of what Grady just blended right here for $75, I'd pay that every day.
I would too.
Yeah,
I would too.
For 4.25 value.
Yeah, and to be fair, there is no bottle like Smoke Wagon's bottle on the market.
Yeah.
What they are doing with their bottling is often untalked about because it's hard because there's so many distilleries and so many options when you walk down that bourbon whiskey aisle. It can often be intimidating by someone who's new to the game.
Yep.
I know Jason and I both see that in people who are new, and often I'm in the whiskey aisle and I'm knowledgeable, and I feel like I can help someone because you can just tell. Um, but I understand. So this is eye catching what they're doing with their bottles.
It really is. It's the bottle itself. The shape isn't very unlike obviously the High West if you looked at them, but or some of the higher end allocated George T. Stagg, Buffalo Trace stuff. Sorry, I always have George T. Stagg on the mind, just FYI. But
I don't blame you.
But no, the I don't know what you call that.
The
artwork,
tattoo on the bottle.
Yeah,
it's masterful, really.
Yeah, and then nice, understated, not or at least not overstated labeling.
Little wax emblem.
Yeah.
It just feels good in your hand.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what she said. Or he. I mean, it's 2023. But no, these guys obviously put some great thought into, not just where they're sourcing and not just how they're blending, but also the presentation, which is really, really cool. And not to say that there's not plenty of other people out there that aren't doing some really cool stuff. There are. But just the only unfortunate thing about smoke wagon stuff is not readily available in our state.
Yep.
You gotta go online and
order
or have a friend, and so.
Hey, if you know,
you know.
Okay, and we just happen to know how to blend.
Yeah.
Here at Honest Spirits. So hey, if you want a sample of the blend, again, more than happy to share it.
Yeah.
Now that it's out in the open, feel free to try your own blend. You never know what you might find. I have a lot of friends that are working on infinity bottles. Maybe we can do that for an episode. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. By the way, do not ever do this with George T. Stagg.
Maybe we need to do a high-end sample.
Don't ever blend George T. Stagg with anything.
This guy. Yeah, this guy. All right, my friends, let us know what you're interested in us doing. We got some ideas that we're kind of working on.
Send us blind samples, whatever you want to do. We've got a friend. We got an episode coming up. We're going to try a friend's blend that he just blended a bunch of different bourbons and ryes as well.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Yep. So, hey, we're really happy to be back again, but we will see you next week. Peace.